Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're doing amazing and I hope you had an amazing weekend. I'm filming this on a Wednesday. I'm going to put it up tonight, so hopefully you should be seeing this as you're in bed Wednesday night. So I thought for today's video we could do a relationship red flag video. Red flags in a relationship. A little bit like my last video, apart from this one. Wait, this one. I remembered the list. So I wrote them down because I'll say like 3-4 ones that come to the top of my head, and then I'll come off and I'll be like, oh, I didn't say this one, I didn't say that one. So I wrote like maybe 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've written 12 down. So I'll go through them and see if you agree. Or if you have other ones, tell me the other ones too. So the first one, I think this is common, being friends with an ex. So if they tell you that they're just a friend, she's just a friend, he's just a friend, we didn't work out, we just didn't work out, and now we were friends. Like, I'm not talking about like high school, like they dated somebody in high school and you're now 30 years old and you happen to be casual friends. I'm not talking about that. That can be normal, that can be alright, of course, that's, you know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ones where they came out of a relationship, they've met you, you're like the next girlfriend or boyfriend after that relationship, or maybe they had like a rebound and then you and whoever the ex is, they keep telling you, like they're laid in bed at night and they're messaging, or they have these little inside jokes, or you know, there's regular contact with this person and they tell you like, oh no, like there's nothing going on, we're just friends now. See, I think that's sus. I think if they weren't friends previously, like prior to their relationship, they weren't friends and they've only ever been in a relationship, and then they break up, they're apart for a short period, and now they're with the new person is with you, and yet they're telling you that ex is just a friend, I would probably question that. I think my natural response would be, do you not have enough friends that you're recruiting ex-partners? I don't know. But yeah, that's number one. Number two, okay. Number two, I've written down only calling on a night time. But it doesn't have to necessarily be a night time. It could be during the day, a certain time during the day. So if there's like a pattern where they only call you or they only contact you at a certain point of the day, so you don't get a sort of an insight or a look into any part of their life outside of this little window sort of thing. Like, so they might call you at like, I don't know, they might call you around 5 o'clock every night, and that's fine if you speak to them other times as well, like FaceTime or call on the phone at other points in the day. But if the only time they can call you and actually speak is at a set time every day, I would kind of be like, what's going on? If they could, like, who is at home? If they can only call you at 5 o'clock when they get off work, but they can never call you on an evening, they can never call you like on a night time when they're at home, like they're messaging you and they're saying, oh yeah, I'm at home, I'm just chilling, I'm just relaxing, whatever, but they can't speak on the phone, they can never speak on the phone. I think that's a red flag. Like, why can't you? always to be available to speak to you whenever you feel like it. Of course not. You both got lives, you're both doing things. But if somebody can never talk to you on an evening, or they can never talk to you, do you know what I'm saying? I think most people will get that. Like, after 7 p.m, phone calls are just, they can't happen ever for any reason. I would kind of be like, and there's no valid reason for it. Like, if that person works nights, then fine, or there's no valid reason for it. I would question that. Three I have written. Oh, so three kind of, I've just tied number 3 in with number 2, which kind of I've put never calling from home. It's kind of the same thing. So if whenever they call you, for instance, they're calling from a parked car, whenever they speak to you, they're calling from the car park. Or whenever they call you, they're calling you just as they've got out of work and they're in the car park in their car, and they're calling you before they go home. But they'll never ever ever call you when they're at home. Like, every phone call is they're calling you just as they've left work, so they're calling you in the car, or they call you when they've left the house and they're in the car, calling you when they've got in the car and they're going somewhere, or they're calling you in the car as they're heading home, but they never ever call you at home. I would probably question that as well. Like, who is at home that you can't be on the phone? Like, if they tell you they live on their own, but they can never call from home. Again, all of it has got to be taken in context. Like, if the person works nights or something, or but yeah, I always think if something seems suspicious and you're normally quite a level-headed, reasonable person, then it could be your gut. Okay, number 4. I think this is a big one, and this is like valid. Always look how they act when they're angry or upset. So I would say this is like the biggest one, to always see how somebody is when they're angry or upset. And it doesn't really matter what it kind of is that they're upset about or they're angry about. It can be something small. It's not necessarily the thing they're upset about, it's how they behave when they're angry, upset. Like, if somebody has a really short temper, I think that is a huge red flag, because it kind of highlights how they're going to act in stressful situations, how they're going to respond to you when you upset them or get them angry or something. Yeah, that is like, I should have put that at the top of the list. How somebody acts when they're upset or angry. Okay, are we on number 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. What on number 5? So if you have never ever met any of their friends or family, so if you don't get introduced, and that doesn't have to be in person, that you don't have to necessarily meet them in person, you might not even live near them or be near them, it's just even on FaceTime. So if you've never seen them even on FaceTime or video calls, you've never met them in person, you've never been around them, and it doesn't have to be a full introduction. It doesn't mean that they've had to set up an evening meal with you all there and made an official, like, hard launch of you. That's not what I mean. It's just, you've never met these people. Like, you couldn't say, oh yeah, he's friends with this person, and this person, or oh yeah, that person is, you just, as far as you're aware, you could be just non-existent to them, because you couldn't say you've even said hi to a single friend or family member, I would say that's a red flag. And I'm not talking like if you've only been speaking to this guy or girl a month, of course it's not a red flag at that point. But as you start getting into it and a couple of months go past, if you still haven't, yeah, I think that can be a red flag. The next one, number 6, avoids answering the phone. Avoids answering the phone. So I think this is a red flag, not necessarily if they, so not necessarily if, say it's a certain person calling or work's calling and they say, oh, I don't want to speak right now, fine. Or if they occasionally just don't talk because you're out having a meal or you're in the middle of watching a movie or you're doing something, you're actively doing something together, then fine. But if it is a constant pattern, like it's a constant theme that they never answer the call to you and they always have the phone facing down, so if the phone rings you can't see the screen, like, and there's a 50-50 chance when somebody puts the phone down on your side that it's going to be face down. So that's fine, that's normal. But I'm talking about if this is a constant, the phone is never face up, it is always face down. Whether that's when you're sat on the sofa, it's when you go to bed, it's when you're out in a restaurant, it's wherever, if that phone is permanently face down and they avoid answering a lot of calls, yeah, I think that can be a red flag. What else do we have? So, saying I didn't ask you to do it. Saying I didn't ask you to do it. This is, I think, as maybe a little bit of a people pleaser. This is, yeah, one that gets to me a little bit. Saying that when you do something for somebody, so I like to, I don't know how to explain this one. So I like to kind of go out of my way if I care about somebody, and that's not necessarily in a romantic relationship, just as a friend or as, you know, someone that you know you're friends with. I like to kind of go out of my way to do little things for them. I don't know if that's my way maybe of showing that I care about somebody, or if it's just a part of my personality, I don't know. But I just like to say, if you mention something or you're talking about something and I can kind of make that thing happen, or, you know, something like that, I just like to do it. And it can be something so minor, like, just off the top of my head, it could be something like, oh, you've got, I don't know, you've got, I don't know, because my head's gone completely blank. It could be something like, we've been talking and you said that you've got a really hectic day tomorrow, you're not going to get a lunch break to get anything to eat, and you've got to find a way to get to the dry cleaners and pick some stuff up, and you're super stressed about it, you don't know how you're gonna get it done, and you could just mention it in a passing comment. But I'm going to remember that, and then tomorrow I'm probably going to try and fit into my day going and grabbing you some dinner and grabbing your dry cleaning, and I'm going to drop your dinner off and then take your dry cleaning home, and I'll just message you and say, oh, I picked up your dry cleaning, like, everything's done, enjoy your lunch and stuff. I just like doing little things like that. And when the person responds with, oh, well, I didn't ask you to do it, I didn't ask you to do it, I didn't ask you to do that, and you could be like, oh, well, I did this, and they say, well, I didn't ask you to do that. And I think it's it's a lack of appreciation. It's not that you expect thanks for doing it. It's just a lack of appreciation for somebody doing something for you. Because if somebody does something for me, no matter how minor it is, no matter, it could be the smallest thing, I always make sure I show that I'm really grateful for it. So yeah, that was a very poor explanation of that, but I think if you get it, you'll get it. The next one is talking bad about an ex. Yeah, so everybody's probably got one or two bad relationships behind them, of course. That's normal. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you meet that guy or girl and everything that's ever gone wrong in every relationship is because their ex was such a terrible person. Every single ex that they've ever had was such a terrible person, and they did this and they did that, and they were so awful. One, because it makes me think, if every relationship was so terrible and you're the common denominator in it, then what part did you kind of play? Again, I'm not talking about one or two bad relationships. I'm talking about the people that say, like, they just criticize every past relationship and every ex, especially the ones that harbour an unhealthy amount of hate towards us. Like the last relationship, you're talking about your last relationships, the ones that just hurl a whole load of hate onto you about the past one, name calling, things like that. I always think, I think this is number 10. Yes, it's number 10, yeah. So I've written down bad communication style, and I think I meant with that is it falls a little bit into where I said before, how they act when they're angry. It's a little bit of that, but also how they act sort of if they have a problem or something's wrong or something's bothered them. How do they communicate that? Do they completely shut down and they don't speak to you? Does it blow up into a big argument and you didn't even know there was a problem? Like, that's a red flag. Or do they come and they communicate with you, they talk to you, they try and find a resolution? Green flag. But yeah, red flag, especially if they don't take any accountability for what's gone wrong and they just want to pour the blame on you. Red flag. So number 11, breaking insignificant boundaries. That's what I've written, breaking insignificant boundaries. So with this, I mean, so you have the big boundaries that you'll outline as soon as you're together, or you're seeing each other, or you're thinking about being together. Ones where like no cheating, or no, speaking to like other potential partners, things like that. You'll have your big deal breakers. That's fine, and they're very clear when they're overstepped and the mark's crossed, of course. But breaking insignificant boundaries is the little things, like the little things that you ask and they keep breaking them or lying about them or hiding them. That is a huge sign of where it's going to end with the larger boundaries if it keeps going. If you've asked for something a little boundary, something that bothers you, something that is of no detriment to them, to do this boundary, this insignificant thing for them, but it's a huge thing for you, and you find them lying or being secretive or this is like a huge one for me, a huge one. And I think if you're going to be in a relationship with anybody ever, you have got to go out for a meal somewhere with them, like outdoor, a restaurant. You've got to go with that should be mandatory, to go for a meal somewhere with them before you decide if you want to be with them. I put down how they treat workers in the service industry, you know, like waitresses, waiters, like servers kind of thing, you know. What else do they call them, like bar staff, you know, that kind of thing. Because those people work so hard. It's such a tough job in like the customer service industry. Is so hard, and I think people's true colours come out in settings like that. So if I was to sit down and have a meal in a restaurant, and the person that I was with was rude and obnoxious or arrogant to the staff, that is such a huge red flag. Like, that is, I don't even think that's something that you can ignore very easily. That is, that is right up there. That I would recommend everybody does that. Everybody should do that. Go to a restaurant with any potential partner and see how they treat the staff, the waitresses, the waiters, bar staff, you know, whoever's serving you. See how they treat them. Yeah, that's my 11, 12, I think it was, relationship red flags. So let me know if you agree with them or which ones you would add. Do you have like for me, that one stands out massively. The waiters, the waitresses, the service industry one. What one stands out for you? Okay. I hope you have an amazing night, and I'm going to go and film another 2 videos. So if you see me looking like this in the same outfit, it's because I filmed back to back. This is actually a dress. It's like a long t-shirt dress, and it's just